It was the mid-1970s, a time when computers were massive, expensive machines reserved for corporations and research labs. But two young visionaries, Bill Gates and Paul Allen, saw something others didn't. They believed computers could be personal, accessible to everyone. And they were about to change the world forever. One day, Paul Allen walked into Harvard Square and picked up a magazine. On the cover was the Altair 8800, a revolutionary microcomputer. He rushed to show it to his childhood friend, Bill Gates. They saw an opportunity. If they could write software for this machine, they could be at the forefront of a new industry. There was just one problem: they didn't own an Altair, but that didn't stop them. In a frantic 8-week sprint, they wrote an interpreter for the Altair in BASIC, a programming language. When Allen flew to Albuquerque to demonstrate it, the software worked flawlessly. Microsoft had its first major deal. With their first success, Gates and Allen officially founded Microsoft in 1975. The name was a fusion of microcomputer and software. Their goal? To dominate the software industry. In 1980, IBM approached Microsoft for an operating system for their new personal computer. Gates didn't have one, but he knew where to get it. He acquired an existing system, modified it, and sold it to IBM as MS-DOS. The deal was historic. Microsoft retained the rights to the software, meaning every IBM PC sold would bring them revenue. MS-DOS was powerful, but it lacked a graphical interface. Microsoft began developing Windows, a system that would revolutionize computing. By 1985, Windows 1.0 was released, setting the stage for Microsoft's dominance. Microsoft was no longer just a startup, it was a force to be reckoned with. But this was only the beginning. The next decade would bring triumphs, controversies, and battles that would define the tech industry. The year was 1985. Computers were evolving, but something was missing: a user-friendly interface that could make computing accessible to the masses. Microsoft had a vision, a world where anyone could use a computer without memorizing complex commands. And that vision was about to change everything. Microsoft had already dominated the operating system market with MS-DOS, but it was text-based, intimidating for the average user. Inspired by Apple's graphical interface, Microsoft began developing Windows, a system that would revolutionize computing. Apple had introduced the Macintosh in 1984, featuring a sleek graphical interface. Microsoft saw the potential and began working on Windows, but Apple wasn't happy. They accused Microsoft of copying their design, sparking one of the biggest rivalries in tech history. Then came Windows 95, the game changer. It introduced the Start menu, taskbar, and a user-friendly interface that made computing accessible to millions. The launch was legendary, with Microsoft spending millions on marketing, even hiring the Rolling Stones to promote it. Windows 95 wasn't just software, it was a revolution. Microsoft had cemented its place as the dominant force in computing, but with great power came great scrutiny. The next decade would bring lawsuits, controversies, and battles that would shape the future of technology. By the mid-1990s, Microsoft was no longer just a tech company, it was a global empire. Windows had become the dominant operating system, running on over 90% of personal computers worldwide. But with great power came scrutiny. Governments and competitors began questioning Microsoft's business practices, leading to one of the most infamous legal battles in corporate history. The internet was booming, and Microsoft wanted control. Netscape Navigator was the leading web browser, but Microsoft had a plan: bundling Internet Explorer with Windows, making it the default choice for millions. Netscape couldn't compete, and soon Microsoft had crushed its rival. In 1998, the US government filed an antitrust lawsuit against Microsoft, accusing it of monopolistic practices. The trial was intense, with Gates's evasive testimony becoming infamous. The court ruled that Microsoft had violated antitrust laws, and for a moment it seemed the company might be broken up. But Microsoft wasn't going down without a fight. After years of legal battles, the company reached a settlement, avoiding a breakup. Gates stepped down as CEO, handing the reins to Steve Ballmer. Microsoft had survived, but its reputation had taken a hit. Despite the controversies, Microsoft remained a powerhouse. The next decade would bring new challenges, new innovations, and a shift in leadership that would redefine the company's future. In 2000, Bill Gates stepped down as CEO, handing the reins to Steve Ballmer. A man known for his enthusiasm, Ballmer was determined to push Microsoft into new territories: enterprise software, gaming, and mobile technology. But his tenure would be marked by both triumphs and failures. Microsoft had entered the gaming industry with the original Xbox, but it was the Xbox 360 that truly made an impact. Competing against Sony's PlayStation, Microsoft built a gaming empire, introducing Xbox Live and exclusive titles that cemented its place in the industry. Not every move was a success. In 2007, Microsoft launched Windows Vista, promising a revolutionary experience. But the reality was different. Compatibility issues, sluggish performance, and user frustration led to one of Microsoft's biggest failures. Microsoft learned from its mistakes. In 2009, Windows 7 was released, fixing Vista's flaws and restoring user trust. It became one of the most beloved versions of Windows, proving that Microsoft could bounce back. As smartphones took over, Microsoft tried to compete with Windows Phone, but despite its sleek design, it struggled against Apple and Android. In a desperate move, Microsoft acquired Nokia's mobile division in 2013, but it was too late. The deal failed, costing billions. By 2014, Ballmer stepped down, making way for a new leader, Satya Nadella. Microsoft was at a crossroads. Would it continue struggling in mobile, or would it find a new path? The answer lay in the cloud. By 2014, Microsoft was at a crossroads. The company had struggled in mobile, faced criticism over its business practices, and was losing ground to competitors like Google and Apple. But then, a new leader emerged, Satya Nadella. His vision? To transform Microsoft into a cloud-first, AI-driven powerhouse. Nadella understood that the future wasn't in hardware, it was in the cloud. Microsoft Azure became the company's flagship product, competing with Amazon Web Services and Google Cloud. The shift was monumental, turning Microsoft into a leader in enterprise solutions. Microsoft didn't stop at cloud computing. It acquired LinkedIn for $26 billion, GitHub for $7.5 billion, and formed a strategic partnership with OpenAI. These moves positioned Microsoft at the forefront of AI and professional networking. But Microsoft's rise wasn't without controversy. Privacy concerns over Windows telemetry, military contracts for AI-driven defense systems, and accusations of toxic workplace culture sparked debates about the company's ethics. Microsoft's journey is far from over. As AI and cloud computing redefine technology, will Microsoft continue to lead, or will new challenges emerge? The future is uncertain, but one thing is clear: Microsoft has shaped the digital world like few others. Microsoft's rise to power wasn't without controversy. From monopolistic practices to privacy concerns, the company has faced intense scrutiny over the years. While its innovations have shaped the digital world, its business tactics have sparked debates about ethics and corporate responsibility. One of Microsoft's biggest controversies was its battle with the US government over monopolistic practices. The company was accused of crushing competition by bundling Internet Explorer with Windows, effectively eliminating rivals like Netscape. The landmark antitrust case led to a ruling that Microsoft had violated competition laws. As technology advanced, Microsoft faced criticism over its handling of user data. Windows telemetry, which collects user information, raised concerns about privacy and surveillance. Critics argued that Microsoft's data collection practices lacked transparency, fueling debates about digital rights. Microsoft's involvement in military contracts sparked ethical debates. The company's AI-driven defense systems, including partnerships with the US military, raised concerns about the role of technology in warfare. employees protested against Microsoft's contracts, questioning the ethical implications of AI in defense. Despite its success, Microsoft has faced allegations of toxic workplace culture. Reports of discrimination, harassment, and internal conflicts surfaced over the years, leading to calls for reform. The company has since pledged to improve its corporate environment, but the controversies remain a part of its history. Microsoft's journey is a tale of innovation, power, and controversy. As the company continues to shape the future of technology, it faces new challenges: AI ethics, privacy concerns, and competition in an ever-evolving digital landscape. The question remains, will Microsoft continue to lead, or will history repeat itself? Microsoft's story is one of ambition, innovation, and controversy. From its humble beginnings in Albuquerque to its dominance in cloud computing and AI, the company has shaped the digital world like few others. But as technology evolves, new challenges emerge. Few companies have influenced the modern world as much as Microsoft. Its software powers billions of devices, its cloud infrastructure supports global businesses, and its AI research is shaping the future of technology. But with great power comes great responsibility. As AI and cloud computing redefine industries, Microsoft stands at the forefront. Its partnership with OpenAI, advancements in quantum computing, and investments in ethical AI development will determine its role in the next technological revolution. But Microsoft's future isn't without challenges. Privacy concerns, ethical dilemmas in AI, and fierce competition from Google, Amazon, and emerging tech giants will test its ability to adapt. Will Microsoft continue to lead, or will history repeat itself? Microsoft's journey is far from over. As the digital world evolves, one thing remains certain: this company has shaped the way we live, work, and connect, and its next chapter is yet to be written.